Escape the plantation, some breaking away. Never looking back, it's a brand new day. Profit on my mind, success in my sight. Living life my way, everything feels right.
Welcome to Escape the Plantation, aka the job market. I'm your host, Mimi Staxx. Oh my God, you didn't have to. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You know, everything I do, I do for you guys. Thank you. Now, before we get started, I'd like to, I have to say, death to the employee within and rise to the boss. Death to the employee within and rise to the boss. I escaped the job plantation over 20 years ago, and I'm doing this podcast to help potential bosses who feel stuck and are trapped in the job market and need to break free. The goal here is to ascend to the world of boss. So let's get started. So this is episode 1. Thank you very much for the cheers and the congrats and all of that good stuff, you guys. Um, Episode 1 is important to me, and I felt like if I'm going to do episode 1, I have to lay the foundation. I'm a very structured person. I'm a Libra. We have to lay the foundation as we begin this journey together. So this episode is going to be called Why Most People Can't and Won't Escape the Plantation. It's important to lay the foundation, and we're going to get started with that. Let's get right to the heart of it all. Okay? All right. So, one of the reasons why most people can't and won't escape the plantation is they've been indoctrinated. Now, we have to understand clearly what indoctrination is if we're going to have this discussion, because if we don't, then we're just going to constantly be playing with words that we don't even fully understand, right? So when I'm talking about indoctrination, I'm not speaking about brainwashing. Brainwashing is something quick, fast, something you can try to get over to somebody's head. And you can debate back and forth and get someone to see things your way. When we talk about indoctrination, we're not necessarily talking by force or by fear. It's a safe place for most people. Okay. Indoctrination is repeated teaching of a belief system until you accept it as the truth. Now, it don't matter if it's a damn lie, okay? But no, I mean, with indoctrination, this works and has worked on all of us. That's why we're starting this out, Escape the Plantations, because when we're indoctrinated, it's a very slow, long process. I mean, it's done through schools, religion, uh, 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 policies and procedures in corporate, belief systems in family, media, social media, things that we consider to be normal, politics. It's in everything we do. And it's slow, it's repetitive, it's normalized, it's painless, no force at all. You don't even realize that it's happening. And at the same time, it shapes the way you think. Okay. So when we're talking about indoctrination, most people think that they're not indoctrinated. They don't even think about indoctrination. This is why we have to put uh, um, a magnifying glass on it. Most people are indoctrinated and they believe the bullshit. They believe that being an employee is a great thing. They believe that everybody should be an employee. Okay. And of course, they're going to do that because how else do you get slaves to work on your plantation? We know nowadays forced slavery is not the thing, right? They can't force you to work on their plantation. So how else do they get you on there? Indoctrination. Let me indoctrinate your ass from kindergarten all the way up until you graduate high school and maybe even the universities as well. Right? So a lot of people are indoctrinated and they don't know it. And that's the first thing. That's the first step. And by the time you find out you've been indoctrinated, it's the middle of your life and you just like, damn, look at all of the years that have went by. I've been lied to. And a lot of people feel that way. And a lot of people who are listening to this podcast are going to feel that way. I've been duped. I've been bamboozled. I've been lied to. And I see everything right before me, right? Even if I don't want to see it. Okay. Another reason why most people can't and won't leave the plantation or escape because they're scared. Now, this is the whole thing. People always ask, well, why am I so scared? Why am I so afraid? I'm a grown ass woman or a grown ass man. I should be able to put my foot down and do what I need to do. Why am I acting so cowardly? Why is it that when I want to take control of my life, it feels like I can't and I'm scared? It feels very uncomfortable. Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because you've been indoctrinated, right? So when you go against what you've always believed, it's very uncomfortable. And to have to go against what you've always believed makes you feel like a fraud, makes you feel some kind of way. See, we don't just go in and say, oh, I was indoctrinated, but now I see the light. It doesn't happen like that for most people. It doesn't click like that for most people. Because the thing that catches people with the indoctrination is how normalized it is. Everybody's under this spell and it's normal on top of that. So therefore that constantly tries to reinforce the lie that you're trying to get yourself out of. So your fear is, in my opinion, directly related to the indoctrination that you've been suffering from your entire life. And until you can get this monkey off your back, most people will feel stuck and trapped. Which leads me into the next reason why most people can't and won't escape the plantation. I always start off my podcast with death to the employee within, rise to the boss. Why do I say that? Because the indoctrination that you're suffering from is also directly related to the ego that was created in you, the identity that was bestowed on you, okay? Which is the employee. You have to kill the employee within. Death to the employee. Most people can't make it off the plantation because they have identified themselves as an employee. They see themselves as an employee. It's normal. And the employee within says, stay an employee because this is the way. This is the ticket. This is what you are supposed to be doing. How else are you going to pay your bills? Being an employee is going to help you pay your bills. If you're lucky, you'll get benefits. You'll get a retirement plan. You'll get everything that you need. Everybody's doing it. Follow the herd. This is what the employee tells you. This is what's being whispered in your ear through the indoctrination that was put on you that created this alter ego we call employee. So, with that being said, we tend to listen to the very thing that we think has helped us along the way, not knowing that it's been eating at our souls for a very long time without us understanding why. It's the employee within. See, you got to kill it and be reborn into a boss. The employee cannot live in the same body or mind as the boss. One of them got to go. What did they say? You can't serve two masters. And I don't want to hear the part-time boss shit. Oh, I work full-time at my job as an employee, but I have 5 businesses on the side. I don't want to hear that bullshit. I don't want to hear it. People want to debate it, and you can debate it on another podcast. If you are taking orders from a boss, and you are an employee of that boss, and that boss controls your hours, your time, your life, and takes care of you, I don't want to hear about the 20 other businesses that you got that ain't making no money. I don't want to hear about it. Please don't talk to me about it. I don't want to hear part-time boss. Boss is a full-time thing. It is a lifestyle. It is who you are. Boss is just like a bird. A bird is not a bird part-time. A bird is a bird all the damn time. We're not going to sit here and say, oh, I'm part-time bird, part-time fish. We're not doing that. We're not doing that here. Okay? We're just not doing it. You can do it by yourself. That's fine. But we're not doing it here. So, yeah, most people try to go into boss positions. They fantasize about being a boss. They try to look the part. I call it pseudo-bossing, where you're faking it like you're a boss. They try to do these different things, but they never let go of the employee. And when you never let go of the employee, you never let go of the job mentality. You never let go of the job market. Having a job is always a possibility. It is your fallback. It is your go-to. It is your go-to. Let's call a spade a spade. A lot of people don't like to hear it, but if you don't like to hear this, you shouldn't be listening to this. So if you want to escape the plantation, you have to start chipping at this employee that is taking up space in your mind and in your emotions and is totally telling you what to do, and you don't even realize it. Because every time you try to do something boss, here comes the employee within trying to totally dismantle everything that you put together. Okay? So that's another reason. Going into that, this is why, going into the next reason, you can't and won't escape the plantation is because you don't look at yourself as a boss. You look at yourself as an employee. You identify as that, as an employee. You do not identify as a boss. So trying to go and do boss things and then you fall flat on your face and you're trying to understand why you keep falling flat on your face is because if you can't see yourself as being a boss, who else are you expecting to see you as a boss? Who? Who's supposed to be looking at you like, oh, boss? Don't say nothing. Just take time. Take it in. Okay? But this is the truth. You don't see yourself as a boss. Okay? Another reason. Let's keep going. We ain't done. Let's keep going. Another reason why most people can't and probably won't escape the plantation is because they are addicted to comfort. They are addicted to those slave checks. They are addicted to slave vacations. I don't call them paid vacations, slave vacations. Okay? And they're addicted to the benefits. It's all comfort based. Okay? They're addicted. And so because they're addicted to this, on top of the indoctrination, on top of being or seeing themselves as an employee and still having the employee live within them, on top of them being scared, on top of all of that, they got the addiction of the slave check that keeps coming. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Every week, every 2 weeks, every month, however, whatever the frequency of when you get paid. Just when you think about leaving and you think, hey, let me get myself free, here comes another slave check coming in. But with a bonus. It's almost as if though your boss knows that you're trying to break away. They're like, no, look, stay here. We got a bonus coming for you. Look at that. Look at that check. I'm not lying about this shit. It's the truth. Okay? So you got to get rid of that too. You got to get rid of the comfort. Bosses realize that you can't have it both ways. Unfortunately, you're going to experience discomfort, and it's more mental than anything. I mean, think about it. When you have a child who has enough common sense to open up a lemonade stand and sell some damn lemonade. Lemonade ain't even got to be good, but they can sell lemonade and they can make money. Do you really think it's the how to? How do I make money? How do I sell something? How do I? No, a child can do it. It is all of the other crap. It is you being a slave to having that slave mentality that has been enforced in you slowly but surely over the long haul that has got you in the predicament that you're in. That's it, and that's all. It's interesting because people do not even realize, and this is the next one. This is the reason why they can't get off the plantation and won't. They don't realize or understand political and economic warfare. Okay? You are a part of it. You are a part of that. When you're not a part of the boss liberation movement, you are a part of the enslavement, the mass enslavement that's happening all over the world. Okay? Where people profit off of enslaving people. And they do that through the means of voluntary slavery, where people have to say, hey, I want to volunteer to be your slave. I want to fill out an application and submit my resume of how good of a slave I can be to you and your organization. I want to show you how I can make you rich and slave hard for you. I want you to see how good of a slave I can be. And in exchange, I want you to take care of me. That's slave talk, right? They don't understand political and economic warfare. It's a war, and you don't even realize you in it. And you giving up all of your energy, all of your time to the tune of maybe 30, 40 years in exchange for what? You ain't even got to answer that. So, what else? Because I know that can't be all, right? Well, I got a few more points I'm gonna hit, and then we'll go from there and build off of that. Okay. Another reason why people can't and won't escape the plantation because they don't have any courage. Okay. Now, don't get courage confused with scared, because you can be scared and still have the courage to do what you feel you need to do. A lot of people are what I call wusses and wimps. When you a wuss, you need a job. Stay at the plantation. Don't go nowhere. You stay right where you at, because you don't have the courage, and bosses need courage. If you're gonna be, if you're going into the world of boss, you're gonna to have courage. Okay, so people will stay at the plantation for the comfort and because they have no courage and they know it. So they're like, look, we got somebody that can take care of us. Hopefully we don't rock the boat too much and we can stay here till we retire and, hopefully get a good 401k and live the rest of our life till we die. Another reason why while most people are on the plantation, they can't and won't get off is because they don't want to take any risks. They don't want to take any risks that go against their indoctrination, that goes against what their master wants, that goes against their ingrained belief. Call it what you want. Now, risk, everybody takes a risk, right? Everybody takes a risk. Let me turn that off. Everybody takes a risk, but it's what type of risk are you taking? And it's normal to take the risk of selling your soul. It's normal to take the risk of selling your time, not owning nothing, not getting nothing, not having a legacy to leave. See, that's normal. And because it's normal, it's like, most slaves don't look at that as taking a risk. They don't want to take a risk that's going to disrupt their enslavement. That's what I mean. And the same thing with courage. They have courage to go and get a job. They have courage to fill out an application. They have courage to go to an interview. But they don't have the courage to do their own thing because it goes against what they've been taught slowly and for a long period of time. Okay? It goes against that. So they don't have courage to go against their own indoctrination. They don't want to take the risk to go against their master. And last but not least, for now, most employees, they hate to lose. Hate to lose what? That's interesting that you said that. They hate loss. And hold on one second, because you're not going to do that. You see that I'm doing this podcast, Kitty. Don't be meowing all through my stuff. And I'm not turning it off. People gonna hear you. They're gonna know that I got a kitty here and she's vocal and she is like really agreeing with what's going on now. Like, yes, preach me, tell them. Okay. She thinks like a boss too. A damn cat thinks like a boss. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Employees hate losing, right? But it's not the losing that you think. Because when you are an employee, knowing that you could be a boss and you really have the wherewithal to think like a boss, you lose when you stay at this job. You lose on your dreams, your hopes, your aspirations, your purpose, what you're here to do. You lose so much. But yet you think when you go and take risk and go against the status quo that you're losing something. Oh, well, what if I start my own business and the business fails? Start another one. Look back at what went wrong and start another one. This is like saying, what if I get a job and it don't work out? What do? You go get another one. And you don't hesitate. You don't even ask the question. You know what to do. The plantation thinking is a mindset, you guys. And the problem is so many people claim that they want to be a boss and they want to do all of these different things. And they think if they just remove themselves from the plantation physically, that everything else will just follow suit. It don't work that way. The plantation has your ass as long as it has your mind. As long as you have a slave mentality, you will always come back to the job market. The job market is full and packed with people who are begging to get in. And this helps the masters because the masters is like, well, shit, we ain't got to go far to find help. We got all the help we could ever need. We got all the slaves we will ever need. And now, how about this? They're about to ditch you, motherfuckers, because they're about to do. They're going on the AI. They want AI to really come in and replace most of y'all. That's going to be for another segment, but I'm letting you guys know that you really need to think twice and start making moves if you really have these boss ambitions, because the supply of employees is not diminishing. The master is not panicking, and by the time you guys catch on to the fact that you could have been a boss all this time, left legacies, and went and potentially got wealthy yourself, they're going to replace you and throw you out on your ass to fend for yourself. Why? Because nobody has to take care of you. And employees want people to take care of them. They want to be taken care of. Bosses take care of themselves. They figure it out. So to conclude, why most people can't and won't escape the plantation, I felt that it was necessary to do this for a particular reason. And this reason is very simple. People tend to think that any and everybody can escape the plantation. Oh, yeah, I want to do it. I'm going to do it. Easier said than done. I'm putting it out there to let you know some of y'all ain't going to make the cut. Some of you are not going to make the cut. Why? Because a lot of the stuff that I just addressed, you will not address. That's why. And as long as you don't address these things, okay, the plantation has your ass. You're not going nowhere. You're not going nowhere fast. And by the time you figure it out, you're old and gray, and you're thinking about all the things you coulda, shoulda, woulda done. So this is not to make people feel bad. This is not to discourage people, but it's to bring the real to the situation and to get us out of Delulu land. You know, people are delusional. I call it Delulu land. It's time to get out of Delulu land, and it's time to start figuring some things out. And if you understand that you've been indoctrinated for all of these years since grade school, you might want to now think about how you can get out of this situation and start putting forth effort to indoctrinate yourself with some boss. Okay? That's the world of boss. The world of boss. You know, if I'm going to be indoctrinated, indoctrinate me with a cup or a sip of boss. Let me get that. Indoctrinate me with that. Indoctrinate something in me that's going to make me more powerful, that's going to help me along, help my family along, that's going to be beneficial. Don't indoctrinate me to be no damn slave and work for somebody else for the rest of my life till I'm old and gray. That shit is for suckers, for me. Now, you can feel how you want to feel. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, I'm going to end this, okay? You know, and I'm going to end it the way I usually end certain things. I don't know what you're getting from this podcast, but whatever you do, okay, always remember you don't need the plantations. You don't need them. You don't need the plantations. The plantations need you. This is Mimi Staxx signing out. Peace.
Escape the plantation, some breaking away.